Secretary of State candidate Michelle Ugenti-Rita is asking voters to look at her history in crafting new election laws for the state of Arizona and let that be their guide on whether to vote for her. ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius sat down this week with the Republican state senator who says she doesn't need to ride on anyone's coattails.
Just before ABC 15 sat down with Secretary of State candidate Michelle Ugenti-Rita this week, Donald Trump had blasted her in a press release, calling her a weak, never-Trumper rhino and friends with all the radical left Democrats.
Well, what does that say to you that Trump's out attacking you now 2 weeks before the election?
That I'm winning. I'm competitive. I'm going to win this race.
Ugenti-Rita, an Arizona state senator, is one of the more fiscally conservative Republicans. She was first elected in the Tea Party wave of 2010, but she also has a history of going her own way. Like after the 2020 election, she first joined Republicans calling for an audit of the presidential vote, but later withdrew her support.
I would look at what happened and say, I've been vindicated. Nobody's running on the audit. Nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to point it out because I think collectively we've realized that it wasn't administered correctly.
Ugenti-Rita sponsored multiple election bills over the years, from consolidating election dates, preventing ballot harvesting, and purging permanent early voter lists of infrequent voters. Opponents have claimed the impact of some of her legislation is voter suppression.
They're coming after my proposals because they rightfully identify my proposals as ones that go a long way in securing our elections and stopping the manipulation in cheating.
During the Me Too movement, Ugenti-Rita outed State Senator Don Shooter as a sexual harasser. He was expelled from the Senate. After that, Ugenti-Rita was publicly accused of sexual harassment by a lobbyist, but the Senate cleared her of any wrongdoing. Ugenti-Rita did not want to discuss that part of her past, instead focusing on how she'll lead in the future.
I'm not going to do what's politically expedient. I will not do that. I'm going to do what I believe is right for this state.
Michelle Ugenti-Rita is one of 4 Republicans running for Arizona Secretary of State. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., we'll introduce you to another one of the candidates, Bo Lane, an advertising executive endorsed by Governor Doug Ducey. I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.